They used to smile while you cried. They mocked your pain and called it weakness. They thought you had no one, no strength, no voice. But what they didn't see coming was the warrior rising behind you. The narcissist is in serious trouble because someone just stepped in and said, "You don't fight alone anymore." When a narcissist targets you, they isolate you, manipulate you, and try to break your will. But what they never plan for is your comeback. What they never imagine is someone seeing your worth and standing up for it. Today, we're talking about the power of protection, the strength of advocacy, and why the narcissist game is over. The first weapon of a narcissist is isolation. It's not just physical, it's emotional, mental, spiritual. They sever your support system slowly. They chip away at your confidence quietly. They twist conversation, sow confusion, and make you question your own memory, your own value, your own identity. It's not a sudden blow, it's a slow erasure. One day you look around and realize you've been surrounded by silence. Friends have faded, your voice has grown faint, and all the while the narcissist smiles. Because in your isolation, they feel powerful. They know that control thrives in the absence of connection. They know that if you believe no one cares, you will stop fighting. If you believe no one sees, you will stop crying out. If you believe no one is coming, you will surrender. But that lie is breaking today because you are not alone anymore. There comes a moment, divinely orchestrated, when someone steps into your storm. It might not be loud, it might not be dramatic, but it is decisive. And someone looks at your life, your pain, your silence, and they say, "Not on my watch." That moment is a holy disruption. It's when the cycle begins to crack, when the narcissist senses they no longer have you trapped in their echo chamber of manipulation. The grip they thought was unbreakable begins to tremble because now truth is stepping in. Now love is standing beside you. Now presence is replacing absence. This isn't about someone rescuing you like a victim. No, this is about alignment. Heaven sends people into your life not to save you, but to stand with you, to remind you of who you were before the lies, to speak life where silence used to dwell. You are divinely protected, intentionally covered, and no longer standing in the dark. The enemy of your soul wanted you alone, but God has declared that isolation is broken. The manipulator never expected that someone would notice the pain behind your smile, the truth behind your silence, the strength beneath your scars. They never expected that someone would step in with discernment, with clarity, and with authority, but someone did, and that someone is enough to shatter their illusion of control. Now they're panicking because the version of you they controlled is gone. They're realizing that they don't just have to silence you anymore, they have to face the sound of someone else defending you, speaking up for you, fighting alongside you. They have to face the truth that you are not as easy to manipulate as you once were. You've been found. You've been seen. You've been chosen for restoration. And what God restores, no narcissist can destroy. So let them tremble, let them panic, because the walls they built around you are falling, the darkness they cast over your life is lifting, and the person they tried to isolate has just stepped into freedom with backup. But the narcissist uses his control, coded in guilt, shame, and fear. But what breaks it is unconditional love. When someone loves you enough to confront the abuse, to speak the truth, and to defend your name, it disrupts the narcissist's entire strategy. Love is bold. Love exposes lies. Love walks into toxic spaces and declares freedom. The narcissist cannot handle real love because it cannot be manipulated and it cannot be controlled. Control is a counterfeit version of love. It looks like attention, sounds like concern, and wears the mask of care, but at its core, it's rooted in fear, not faith. The narcissist thrives when you doubt yourself, when you're desperate to be accepted, when you confuse pain for passion. They twist your emotions until you're paralyzed, questioning your own memory, your own voice, your own value. But when real love enters the room, love that is patient, kind, and grounded in truth, it begins to pull back the curtain on every falsehood. It begins to dismantle the fantasy the narcissist built around you. Because real love doesn't need a puppet. It doesn't require performance. It sees you clearly and stands with you courageously. Unconditional love is dangerous to a narcissist because it's not based on what you do, it's based on who you are. And the moment someone starts loving you like that, without strings, without control, without manipulation, everything the narcissist built starts to crumble. Why? Because now you're being reminded of your worth. Now you're seeing yourself through the eyes of someone who honors your soul, not your submission. And the narcissist can't compete with that. They can't compete with the truth. Because truth doesn't bend to flattery and it doesn't bow to intimidation. Truth stands firm and it sets you free. The greatest weapon against control is clarity. And love brings clarity. It helps you see the pattern. It helps you name the pain. It helps you break the silence. Love doesn't just comfort, it confronts. Love doesn't just hold you, it helps you heal. And when someone loves you enough to stand between you and the abuse, to fight for your dignity, to challenge the lies that held you hostage, it begins a revolution in your spirit. You start reclaiming what was stolen, your voice, your value, your vision. You stop shrinking to keep the peace. You stop apologizing for needing boundaries. You stop tolerating mistreatment just to feel wanted, because you've now tasted something stronger, something purer. And here's what the narcissist never imagined: that someone would fight for you this hard, that someone would see past the performance and protect your heart, that someone would love you enough to say, this isn't healthy, this isn't right, you deserve better. That kind of love is fire. It consumes lies. It burns through manipulation. It tears down every fake throne the narcissist built. And once that fire starts, there's no stopping it. The narcissist is in serious trouble now because someone dared to love you right. And once real love shows up, fake power has to leave. A narcissist thrives in the shadows of confusion, in the fog of distortion, where they twist facts, reframe events, and manipulate perceptions until the truth is no longer recognizable. Their power doesn't come from strength, it comes from silence. It comes from the isolation of their target and the control they wield over the narrative. They work tirelessly to make themselves appear noble, misunderstood, even victimized, while painting you as unstable, unreasonable, and broken. They rewrite history with selective memory, deleting their offenses and highlighting your pain as proof of your dysfunction. But something begins to shift when someone stands up and says enough, when someone steps into the chaos, not to observe it, but to confront it with boldness. Everything begins to unravel. Advocacy is a divine disruption. It's the sound of truth knocking on the door of deception. And when truth speaks authentically, fearlessly, and consistently, the narrative collapses. The advocate is not confused by charm or deceived by manipulation. They see through the performance. They recognize the pain behind the smile and the truth behind the tears. And when they speak, their voice carries weight. It challenges the lies, it questions the falsehoods, it brings light into the darkest corners of your story. That light doesn't just expose what happened, it reveals who you really are. You were never the villain, you were never crazy, you were never too sensitive or too difficult. You were wounded and you were silenced, but you were never the problem. And when someone else sees that, someone with integrity, with influence, with a voice, they begin to reclaim your dignity in places you were once defamed. That's when the narcissist starts to panic, because their greatest fear is not that you'll escape, is that someone will believe you. It's that the mask they wear will slip and the world will see them for who they truly are. Your story becomes untouchable when it's no longer told in isolation. Your truth becomes a weapon when it's echoed by another. The narcissist depended on no one fighting for you, no one validating your experience, no one seeing behind the curtain. But now the curtain is open, and the stage they built is crumbling. Their narrative is no longer uncontested. And in this war of words, advocacy becomes an act of warfare, tearing down false realities and constructing platforms of justice. What once was whispered now becomes proclaimed. What was hidden is now testified, and the people who once doubted you now start to question the narcissist's version of the truth. This is not just about being defended, it's about being vindicated. It's about regaining your voice, your confidence, and your identity. The power they stole is being returned, and as the advocate speaks, as truth continues to echo, the narcissist's control dissolves. Their kingdom of lies falls to ruin, and you, once silenced, now rise with clarity and strength. Because when someone dares to speak truth on your behalf, the game ends. The abuser is no longer the author of your story. Truth is. And truth never loses. But the narcissist tried to convince you of that you were insignificant, unworthy, and incapable was never the truth. They devalued you as a tactic to keep you small, to make you doubt yourself, and to maintain control over your life. Their power came from convincing you that your worth depended on their approval, that without their presence, you would be lost and invisible. But here is the unshakable truth. Your worth was never defined by their lies. It was hidden beneath their shadows, waiting to be uncovered by someone who sees beyond the surface, a person who recognizes the treasure that you truly are. When someone steps into your life and fights to protect your worth, something incredible happens. It's as if a veil is lifted and the light shines on what the narcissist tried so desperately to bury. Your value, your strength, your uniqueness, they become undeniable. This witness to your worth doesn't just acknowledge you quietly, they champion you boldly. They stand as a living testament to your true identity and refuse to let the false narrative continue. And this is where the narcissist's control starts to crumble. The power they wield is rooted in manipulation and deceit, but truth, when fiercely defended, destroys that power. You must understand, the narcissist never wanted you to realize how strong you are. They needed you to believe you were weak, dependent, and alone. Because if you discovered your real strength, your real worth, their whole empire of control would collapse. But now you have, and that realization is a game changer. When your worth is witnessed by someone who values you deeply, it becomes a shield around you. The narcissist attempts to diminish you lose their bite. Their words become empty echoes and their threats hold no power. You were never the weak one in this story. The weakness was in the narcissist's tactics, in their desperate need to dominate and belittle to feed their own ego. They hoped you would never see through the facade, that you would remain trapped in their web of lies. But the moment someone steps up for you, the moment your worth is no longer hidden, everything changes. You are no longer isolated in the shadows. You are lifted into the light. You are remembered, not as a broken victim, but as a valuable, strong, and worthy person who deserves respect and protection. His recognition is not just comforting, it is transformative. When your worth is witnessed, it gives you the courage to break free from toxic patterns. It empowers you to reclaim your voice and your life. It fuels your resilience and strengthens your resolve. You begin to see yourself through the eyes of someone who loves and respects you, and that vision becomes your new reality. The narcissist's power fades because their control depends on your silence, your self-doubt, and your isolation. When those vanish, their kingdom crumbles. You are being defended with force not because you are weak, but because you are priceless. Someone has taken up the cause to protect you, to stand with you, and to fight for the truth of who you are. This is not a gentle whisper. It is a powerful roar that challenges the lies and breaks the chains. The battle to protect your worth is a battle for your freedom, your peace, and your destiny. And know this: every step taken to defend your worth is a step toward your victory. You are not alone, and you are not forgotten. Your worth has been seen, and that truth will set you free. There is a profound spiritual truth that many narcissists fail to understand, and it is this: when you rise up to fight for the oppressed, when you stand firmly on the side of truth and justice, you are not fighting alone. You have the power of heaven backing you. This is not just a metaphor or a comforting thought. It is an unstoppable spiritual law. The battle you face is not merely one of emotion or circumstance. It is a divine battle, fought on a higher plane, where the forces of righteousness cannot be overcome by human deception or manipulation. Narcissists thrive in the shadows, weaving their webs of lies, gaslighting their victims, and twisting reality to suit their selfish desires. They believe their power comes from control over others, from silencing voices that expose them, but what they fail to grasp is that true power comes from alignment with divine justice. When someone steps forward to defend the oppressed, to speak out against the lies and abuse, they become vessels of something far greater than human strength. They become warriors of justice, and with justice comes the unyielding support of heaven itself. This divine backing transforms the entire dynamic. The narcissist tactics, manipulation, intimidation, fear, lose their hold. The throne of God cannot be manipulated or gaslit. No amount of deception can shake the foundation of divine truth. The narcissist's control is temporary because it is built on falsehoods, but divine justice is eternal. It does not bend to lies or intimidation. When you are fighting with heaven on your side, you are invincible. Your cause is righteous, and your strength is supernatural. The presence of divine justice means that the narcissist's time is limited. The longer they cling to their control, the closer they edge toward their downfall. Their tactics become desperate, their lies more transparent, their influence weaker. Meanwhile, the defenders rise, stronger, more united, more courageous. These defenders are not just individuals, they are the embodiment of justice in motion. They carry a divine mandate to restore what was stolen, to heal what was broken, and to liberate what was bound. You are not merely being defended, you are being restored. Restoration is the heart of divine justice. It is the process of reclaiming your identity, your dignity, your peace. The battle is not about punishment or revenge, it is about redemption. It is about setting things right. The divine backing you receive ensures that restoration is not just possible, it is inevitable. The truth will prevail, your value will be recognized, and your freedom will be secured. Remember, this battle is sacred. It is part of a greater story where the oppressed are lifted, the broken are made whole, and the weak become strong. Heaven's backing means you have allies you cannot see but whose presence is undeniable. They fight in your favor, orchestrate circumstances for your good, and bring about justice in ways that human efforts alone cannot achieve. This is why the narcissist tactics, no matter how clever or cruel, will ultimately fail. They cannot stand against the power of divine justice. So stand tall, know that you are not alone. The fight for your freedom, your voice, your life is being championed by forces beyond this world. The narcissist's reign over you is ending because you are being lifted by a power that no darkness can overcome. You are not just surviving, you are being restored, renewed, and reclaimed by a justice that is unstoppable. This is your time to rise, because with heaven backing those who stand for the oppressed, victory is assured. To the one watching this, you are not too broken, you are not abandoned, you are not too late to rise. The fight for your life has already begun, and the narcissist never saw it coming. You've been chosen, you've been covered, and you've been claimed by a power greater than manipulation, stronger than abuse, and more faithful than fear. This is your time. This is your turn. And this is the end of their control. Because when heaven fights for you, no narcissist can stand against you.